so this man's lifelong dream was ripped apart. It took him 50 years to achieve it, but only 1 year for it all to be ruined. You see, the man needed money because this dream was something money actually could buy. So he started a business that grew wildly successful, even as he still helped with changing the diapers and making dinner and reading bedtime stories. Stories about how incredible life would be for him and his family when he finally purchased his dream. Then one day, decades and decades in the future, the time had come. The late nights had finally paid off, because now he could sell his business for a great fortune, enough money to finally purchase his dream. That morning, instead of going to work, he got ready to make the big purchase. As he did, he peered down at his hands, now worn and wrinkled, and he looked in the mirror, his head full of gray hair, and he walked past the empty bedrooms in the hallway where his babies once slept, now grown and raising their own families. Even still, he felt lucky that he could now afford his dream. But once he did, the tides turned against his favor despite purchasing and owning a beautiful new beach home down south. At first, the beach house was everything he'd ever wanted and more. That was until he spent more time in what he thought would be paradise. The southerly flight to and from the beach house only took a couple hours. The weather was perfect, and there were golf courses for as far as the eye could see. There, the man furnished the house exactly as he and his wife liked it. Then, he spent day after day trying out different restaurants, biking around the area, and figuring out which golf course to join as a member. But while he and his wife got everything set up down south, they would periodically fly back home to be with their children and grandchildren. And out of every effort they made to set up their new life, the man was most excited about one thing in particular: the guest room. There, he put a top-of-the-line California King mattress, a fully stocked mini fridge, and a jacuzzi in the attached bathroom. It would be the perfect getaway for friends, old neighbors, and of course their children to visit and stay. But weeks turned into months and no one made the trip. So he and his wife flew back and forth. While they were down south, they missed their loved ones terribly. But while they were up north, they were constantly preoccupied with reports of flooding and high winds and maintenance and more. As he neared the first year, the man took a hard look in the mirror. He often found himself on the golf course alone, biking through the neighborhood that didn't feel neighborly at all, and walking past his empty guest room day in and day out. Something felt like it was missing, and so he decided it was time to make a change. He had pursued this dream for all his life, the dream of owning a beach house. But in his relentless pursuit, he realized the house wasn't what inspired him in the first place. It was the people who would fill that house, the moments they would share, and the memories they would make along the way. The next thing he knew, he was on the phone with his realtor. Shocked that the man wanted to sell so soon after buying, his realtor walked through all of the costs of this seemingly brash decision. He reminded the man of the perfect weather and the abundant golf courses and the beautiful beaches, all while scolding the cold and cloudy north. Meanwhile, he couldn't believe how quickly the man had changed his mind. But what the realtor didn't realize was that the decision wasn't rushed at all. In fact, the man had 50 years of reflection to realize what was most important. It was just that he couldn't see it, even though it was right in front of him. And so off he and his wife went, back up north to the home they had always known and cherished, one they felt quite lucky they hadn't sold, back to their family and neighbors and friends. But they didn't leave the South Beaches empty-handed. That's because they took these valuable lessons with them, that sometimes you don't know what you have until it's gone, and that sometimes even the biggest and most aspirational dreams deserve a second look.